Hey leaders, we are so grateful for you guys and just the awesome first night we had at Ripple Effect. Kickoff was so fun. I think students were really excited to be back together again. We were excited to have all of you back together again. But really, just thank you.
Yeah, it was an awesome night, and a lot of students turned out, which was great. And so much fun. And as we kind of told you guys, there's a lot of reasons why we made the change that we made. Number one, students had been telling us they really loved being together. We wanted to give students that opportunity to do that and be together as much as we can in the same room. And kind of what we realized that night is while we were in Studio 3, our numbers aren't exactly split in half for 9th and 10th and 11th and 12th. We have a really heavy 9th and 10th and a pretty light 11th and 12th. And we had a lot more people in the room for 9th and 10th than we were necessarily comfortable with. But what it means is we get to do something really, really awesome. And we appreciate you guys being flexible and running with the changes that we made. It's been like such a crazy season.
So fluid, so
fluid.
And
we feel like we just made a video like this telling you what the whole year is gonna look like, and now it's different. So thank you guys for rolling with the punches. But this is a really awesome thing. We're actually, starting next Sunday, we're going to be moving into main room as a whole ministry. So on Sunday nights at that same time, 6:45, we're gonna be moving into main room. And that's gonna make a few different things possible. One of the biggest things that's gonna make possible that we realized kind of got killed in our current model is student leadership. So students being able to play in the band, students being able to help out with host teams, students being able to serve their peers. Whenever we had two different environments for two different grades, we had to kind of take students out the band because if they were in the band, they would miss their small group. So this is going to allow us for students to help in the band, help on production, help on host team, and it's going to make a lot of other things possible too, right?
It is. I mean, one of the problems that we did have with our model last week, we rolled everything out with our students, was that our 9th and 10th graders were really, really congested in the room. So moving to the main room actually affords us a lot more space to socially distance. So for you as leaders, here's really the important thing for you to know is we will do check-in out in front of the main auditorium outside. That environment is going to be really set up similar to Sunday with our temperature checks outside and check-in outside. And we're also going to be able to have our check-in time include 9 Square outside and Gaga Ball. And instead of really framing that as like a hangout time, it's going to be check-in. Once our students do move in the building, we are going to quickly corral them into the auditorium. I don't know what word I was trying to say, but we're gonna move them through the hallway into the auditorium. So we're not gonna have a lot of congregating in the hallway before the main auditorium. The setup will be the same. You're gonna sit with your small group. We will actually have signs for all of our groups. So 11th and 12th graders, you will have signs as well. And we are gonna ask you to sit together as a group. Here's one big difference, is that because we're in the main auditorium, you can actually sit with a seat in between your students in your group. So we're gonna ask there to be a student, an empty seat, a student, an empty seat, and so on. So that does give us a little bit more space in that room because we weren't really comfortable with how close students were. Also, it's gonna change a little bit of flow of traffic for you guys as we dismiss. We're gonna have sections, obviously, where our 9th grade groups will be our 10th grade groups, 11th and 12th, and so on. And we'll have a traffic flow pattern that will kind of communicate clearly to you guys through an image as well, like we did our map.
Everyone's gonna have their own exit.
They are, which is really cool. So we feel like that will help funnel traffic out of the auditorium safely and into small group. This is also something that is really important, is as far as small group goes, we're still wanting to maximize that time for you. We heard great feedback that it was really good to have more time in small group, and so we want to make sure we're still protecting that for you. So you'll still move to small groups around, we're saying 7:40 or so, and then we have until that 8:30 time for small groups to end, but that's not a hard stop time anymore. Because we're saying students are out of the building in their cars on their way home at 8:45, so that gives you a little bit of flexibility on the end of that, which I think is going to be great. Because I know some of you 9th grade boys groups are like, oh my gosh, get me out of small group because all we're doing is, I don't know, whatever
Picking
you
burgers.
boys do. I don't know, whatever you do. So that gives you a little flexibility to move outside. We'll still have 9 Square and stuff up, but we will be funneling kids to the cars.
And you're not going to have to use any of your small group time to watch a message anymore. So we're going to do live communicators in the room. So So while you will have maybe 10 minutes less of small group time,
Yeah.
we're moving that space into the main room where they'll watch a message so you can
For
go into
sure.
small group and talk about it. So while we are shortening small group time a little bit,
Just a little
it's
bit.
really not changing much.
Absolutely.
And while there's going to be more people in the room, we really believe this is going to be a safer alternative, because while there is more people, the space is greater exponentially.
Yes.
There's so much more room in main room, and we'll be able to spread out so much more. I mean, in our 9th and 10th group, the students were very close, and that's part of the reason why we're getting this. So we really do believe this is a safer alternative. And not only is it safer, it's going to allow us to move towards what we really want to move towards as a ministry anyways.
To be together. So
Yeah.
that's really exciting. And I think one thing to point out is that the church is really behind us in this, which is really cool, because obviously our staff team can't run main room alone. And so the production team is really bought in to help us do our best ministry with you as leaders in this season. And we really do feel like doing that in main auditorium is going to provide that context and that opportunity. So, I mean, as far as your small group guides go, your conversation guides, they'll look very similar as they did last week. We're hoping that the vibe and just kind of that context for community to grow still happens just like it did the first week. But the communication piece, of course, will be in the room, so you won't have to watch the video like Jeff said.
Yep, so if you guys have any questions, concerns, whatever, just reach out to us. We're super excited to start moving towards this. You can shoot your students a text and tell them about it if you want, but we'll also be communicating it through social media, parent newsletters, all the stuff that we normally use to tell people about this stuff. So it's going to be an awesome Sunday next Sunday, moving into this new model, and we're super excited to do it. So still mask required, still better socially distanced, and temperature checks, all that good stuff still happening. So it's going to be an awesome year.
Yep, we're excited. So we will see you guys next Sunday. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And have a happy Labor Day. Awesome.
Bye.